You know. Hello, this is Stephanie, and this is the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Hey guys, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to let you know about something that's a little new here at the Mocha Minutes Podcast. We are now participating in Buy Me a Coffee. So if you haven't heard, buymeacoffee.com is a place where you can show some support and some love monetarily to some of your favorite content creators. That includes me. So it's in the increments of either $1, $3, or $5, and you can do as many as you would like. So I just wanted to let you guys know, would love some support. So if you would go to buymeacoffee.com/Mocha Minutes, I would greatly appreciate it. It will also be in the show notes. Okay, here we go. I have often dreamed of a far-off place where a hero's welcome will be waiting for me, where the crowds would cheer when they see my face, and a voice keeps saying, this is where I'm meant to be. I'll be there someday. I can go the distance. I will find my way. If I can be strong, I know every mile would be worth my while. When I go the distance, I'll be right where I belong. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Mocha Minutes Podcast. This is Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me. I know there's thoughts and fifis about Disney's Hercules, but the music goes. And there's a lot of talk about Michael Bolton and his mullet. But Michael goes. He cut his mullet off. He's cute. He's an old, good-looking older white man. It's like, y'all don't know. Michael Bolton had a chokehold on the pop charts and a little bit of the R&Bs because it's Michael Bolton. So we're back to have the rest of the conversation. So this is another conversation series, and it is about therapy in the Black community, because #therapy is for everybody. And I'm continuing the conversation, and I had to have him here. Y'all know how I feel about him. Y'all have to listen, because he, one, is very honest about not only himself, but things that he sees, because he is a daggone therapist. Okay, y'all? I have Byron from the Captain's Couch back. Byron, how have you been? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right today. I just want to come on here as my dog barks in the background for reasons I'm not sure why, but I want to come on here today and remind everyone here that this Twitter account, as well as this podcast, is a New Day Stand account. So shout out to our current and reigning and defending WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Big meaty man slapping meat, Big E, and our new WWE King of the Ring, the brains behind it all, Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed. And of course, shout out to the OG, to the GOAT, Grand Slam champion, Kofi Kingston as well. But I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right today. It was kind of a blah day at work, but
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was kind of a blah day at work, but other than that, it's a good day outside of that.
Okay. See, sometimes the blah days are fine. Other times it's like, oh God, can I go home? So sometimes, like, if you have like marathon of rough days, you're like, oh, finally a blah day. But Not all the time, not all the blah days. I miss having blah days. Well, it'll be somewhat of a blah day tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. No, it won't. But thank you so much for being here. A conversation about therapy, because you're on Twitter like I am. And so in the last few weeks, I've seen the uptick of people discussing therapy and what they think therapy is, because they don't go to therapy or they don't know anybody who is. And so it's very much interesting to talk of what people think therapy really is, which it's not. It's more of a tool, but there are some people who think, oh no, a therapist where you just tell them to like you, or you tell them what you want them to hear, so they can stroke your ego. And I'm like, is that what you think therapy is? Because I don't think my therapist, literally, sometimes she be like, you ain't had a good breakthrough session until your therapist like lays you out in the nicest way possible. I was like, what are you like? Where do you? I'm like, stroke my ego? Are you kidding me? It's like, that's not what therapy is. Therapy is for you, is for one, healing you, and also not to tell other people what to do, but how you are to handle other people. It gives you tools on how to handle everybody else, because you can't change anybody else. You can change how you respond to everybody else. But again, misconceptions about therapy are like, I don't need a therapist. I'm like, I cannot make that distinction, because that is not my place. However, if you want to talk to a therapist, www.talkspace.com/to-read, use that coupon code, because I'm pretty sure it's still active. But there's a lot of, and I really do like that a lot of therapists, including yourself, are being open and also giving your thoughts on things that you see, because a lot of people just think, I'm like, yeah, hi, maybe I should talk to a therapist to say, hey, that's not what's going on. So have you noticed that there's an uptick, especially with Black Twitter, of people talking about, or basically giving the fallacies of what therapy is?
I mean, I know there is an uptick in like people discussing therapy, people like doing the my therapist said tweets, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I also do that tweet as well, but I'm actually tweeting the things my therapist actually told me.
Sorry, that's so funny. I'm actually telling truth.
Like, yeah, like I literally have Post-it notes in here in my office of stuff, a couple things that my therapist has told me in conversation in therapy. So like, I mean, I'm glad that more people are talking about therapy.
Right.
But like, we definitely want to get the misnomers about therapy out of the way. I was trying to find my man. There's this white dude who's a licensed psychologist who I follow on Twitter, and I can't seem to find his name anywhere right now. Not Twitter, on Instagram. Okay. But his whole deal is, and he said something very poignant about therapy, is no topic, no situation, no idea is too small to bring to therapy.
Correct.
Full disclosure, I ended up going to therapy after my last relationship ended towards the end of last year. And now that was like the impetus to go, but there were some things that I had been noticing within myself that I'd been feeling for a while, where I was like, I don't like that I feel like this, and I feel like I'm kind of tired of feeling like this. So even us as mental health professionals, the idea of, well, hey, we got all the tools and tricks in the bag or whatever, we don't really need to go to therapy. That's not true. Mental health doesn't, you're not absolved from mental health, no matter what your socioeconomic status is, no matter what your occupation is. It don't discriminate. It's going to come find you if it need to come find you. Whether you are broke in the hood and dealing with trauma from, watching friends pass away, or a tragic death of a family member, or you're a guy like me who, has an education, who went to college, who has a master's degree, who is a therapist, but also struggles with depression and anxiety because of trauma. It's gonna find you. Yeah.
And I think that's the other thing about it, is that for many people who are therapists, they have therapists because they value therapy because they know it's the tool. It's like they're not like, I'm just not a client, I'm the player president. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, no. It's like, no. It's like, I know what's it's supposed to be and what it's not supposed to be. So yeah. And I think, I'm not sure why people think that, oh, I don't know what y'all think therapy is, or you can just go your mate is like, look, I don't need no therapist. I can just talk to my girl. She need to be a safe space for me. Nope. No. She can't carry her trauma and your trauma.
Right. But also, so I found my man. It's a modern therapist is Dr. Justin Pruder on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I love his because he's very open about his own struggles with like anxiety. So like, I really enjoy his content. But yeah, you hit up on a really good point about that over reliance on partners or family members to be our I was about to say diary, Alicia Keys. But also
we throw around all the musical reference, okay? We bring it all.
Oh yeah. Because yeah, totally. I was like singing like Tyler the Creator in my head as you were singing. So but the over reliance on people in our circle to be our confidants. Yes, that's cool. And support systems are extremely important.
Correct.
They're vitally important. I know for me, my support system, whether that is my friends, especially my best friend, Rick, who has been on the podcast before, on my podcast before, or my parents or my younger brother, because he and I have built a very strong relationship over the years, and even my older brother sometimes. But the thing about a therapist is, and here's the great thing about therapy, right? When you bring your full self into therapy, you will be accepted. The thing about therapists, I hope
you're writing down that nugget, because
yeah, the thing about therapists we work in such a vital way because we will give you honest feedback, because at the end of the day, the stakes in your life are extremely low for us as your therapist. It is really important to seek outside help outside of your family and your support system, because they all know you. So they're going to be kind of biased towards you in some way, shape, or form. Whether that is to preserve a relationship, or maybe they don't really deal with conflict with themselves, or maybe maybe you're not ready to receive the information they're willing to give. So a third party sometimes can tell you the messages that your family and friends are trying to tell you that you don't really want to receive from them. So it takes the pressure off of you to receive the message from a third party person who's like, I kind of know you, but I don't really know you. We are not here to stroke your egos. I saw this tweet months ago, and it's absolutely true. Now, mind you, I am a child and adolescent therapist, so I work mainly with kids, but I do some work with their parents. But my main focus is really on the children that I serve. Right. But definitely, I have done this as a therapist before when I hit my clients with now this is my impression here. Now, stop me if I'm wrong. And whenever I say that, whenever I say that, I got the 20 gauge, I got the 12 gauge locked and loaded, ready to go. I'm Omar walking down the street, whistling the Farmer in the Deal. Like, I'm about to read you. Ooh. I'm about to hit you with some slick shit with what I'm about to say to you. And a lot of time my clients will be like, nah, you right, Mr. Byron. You right. But that's the opportunities for our therapists to have conversations with us that we just may not be ready to have with people in our circles, whether that's our partners or our parents or our friends or even our employers sometimes. Yeah, because the adage of you can be Black or crazy, you can't be Black and crazy, because apparently if you go to a therapist, you must be crazy. It's like, or I care about my mental health. It's never that conversation. It's like, oh no, I'm not. You can't be both, because there's some people who are like, no, I don't want
I don't want my job to know. They might be asking too many questions. I'm like, I mean, they really should ask questions, but I hear you. There's a certain questions they can't or should not be able to ask you. That's why so many um, jobs have employee assistance programs that are to be anonymous just for that reason. Because it's like, yeah, it's like nobody wants to be known as that person at the job. And you shouldn't feel like, oh, I can't go get help because what if my boss finds out? What would your boss do to you? Oh, I don't want to know the answer to that question. I don't want to know the answer to that question.
They're actually not really going to do anything to you. Like if you are actively working to, like, some people at my job know I'm in therapy. I mean, I'm very open about it.
Right.
You know, I'm very open about it. Like, you know, the lady who was my district manager, she knows I'm in therapy. My former supervisor knew that I started going to therapy because I told her, I was like, look, I am struggling. Like, I'm not happy. I'm struggling. My mood is not great. I don't feel very productive. Like, I'm not in a great space right now. That's why my work is not up to par. So I'm going to go seek out help because I'm struggling. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still burnt out, but I'm trying, you know. But you know, the thing about, you know, you mentioned the employee assistance program. There are so many different avenues in 2021 in order to seek out mental health services. You know, I was going to try the employee assistance program, but they was kind of shuffling their feet. So I am in Facebook groups for clinicians of color group here in Mississippi. And then I'm also in a counseling group for clinicians in the New Orleans area because I'm not that far from New Orleans. And I just put it out there like, hey, look, I'm looking for a therapist for myself. And, you know, I got a link to, you know, to therapy, the private practice that I get my services from. And I linked up with my therapist, who is a Black woman who is absolutely amazing. I greatly appreciate, you know, the work that she's been able to do with me, and I keep bumping into her in public, so that's funny.
Oh my, that is not, you keep bumping into her. Oh my goodness.
Well, our kids are in the same band, or in the band, go to the same school. So,
oh my gosh, I don't know. This is so hilarious to say. I don't know what I would do if I saw my therapist on the street outside of us having a session. I don't know what I would do if I just ran into her. Like, oh my God. Because I literally, because of, you know, the pandemic, I haven't physically been in her presence in almost 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Because, you know, of course, everybody went virtual, and then we're still doing, you know, virtual sessions. So it's kind of like I haven't physically seen her. So if I, for some odd reason, ran into her, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably hug her like, oh my God, do you know how much you helped me during this pandemic? I mean, you help me every day, but it's like, most notably during the pandemic, it's like, girl.
So that's actually something I could piggyback off of and talk about real quick.
Please do.
Okay. So, all right. So fellas, ladies, people in between, genders in between. All right. As a mental health professional, here are the rules, right? I know some people are worried about the idea of like, oh, everybody's going to know I'm in therapy, blah, 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 right? That's not really true. There is this big thing that, and I'm soon to be actually provisionally licensed in the state of Mississippi myself, which I'm really excited about. That was a big milestone for me to pass that test. Woo. But anyway, there's this big rule, this nice little rule book called the ACA, which is the American Counseling Association, rule of ethics, right? So the ethics say that it is our job and it is paramount at all costs that we try to preserve our clients' confidentiality. So I might tell a story about something you might have said or your kid might have said in therapy, but I can't tell anybody what school the kid goes to, what his name is, any type of demographic information at all. I'm not allowed to do that unless it's with, you know, need to know within my company or maybe with another mental health professional. But they have to have signed consent, all that kind of stuff. there are very few scenarios where we actually can breach confidentiality. Now, one of those scenarios is if you run into me in public, and I've had the conversations with my kids all the time. Here's the deal. If you run into me in public, you as the client have to speak to me first.
Oh.
Which means that you are okay with me breaching your confidentiality. So, and I actually had this happen the other day. I saw one of my old clients at a band competition, and I was sitting there looking for my cousin's son, and kid was like, "Wait a minute, I know you, Mr. Byron." I was like, "Oh, hey." And I hadn't seen him in like a year and a half or something like that. And he runs up and he bear hugs me, which he acknowledged me first. So then I can go, "Oh, hi." And then it's kind of up to your therapist how they choose to engage. Some therapists are very, very hands off, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, I see you. I waved at you," and I keep walking away. And then I guess also depending upon the rapport with the client and the therapist, some therapists, especially if they've grown very close with their clients, if they're good with the clients hugging them or something like that, that's allowed. And I work with kids, so usually if my clients are like, "Oh my God, Mr. Byron, what's up?" If they want to dab me up or they want to give me a hug, I usually will acknowledge, like, "Yeah, sure. Bring it in for the real thing." But, it's up to you guys to acknowledge whether or not we want to allow us to breach your confidentiality in public. Because if it's as simple as, I don't really want to talk to my therapist in public, I'm going to give them the head nod. I'm going to give you the head nod back, and we're going to walk off. That's it.
Wow. Thank you for that. Because, wow, that is a gem. Because I'm saying like, oh, it's like, that is very interesting. Because honestly, I think I would be like walking up to her, but I don't think I would yell her name or anything. I probably would like tap her shoulder or something. I wouldn't be like screaming like, "Oh my God." I'm like, no. But yeah, that's a great tidbit. I honestly did not know that. It's like, oh my goodness. So that's good to know. So just in case y'all see your therapists out in the wild, as they would say,
right.
Just know,
right.
It's like, "Oh my God, my therapist saw me and didn't even speak to me." Okay. So we're going to have this discussion at our next session.
You got to come speak first.
It's like, you got to have this conversation in our next session. It's fine.
And I feel like I've had that conversation before with one of my kids. They was like, "I saw you somewhere, Mr. Byron. You ain't speak." I'm like, first of all, you have to come speak to me first. Second of all, look, man, when I'm out in public, I'm minding my business. I got my headphones in and I am like,
you got tunnel vision.
Yes, I have tunnel vision. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to music. I am not paying attention to people when I'm in public.
That's true. I think I was in a store and I had a mask on and someone recognized me. I'm like, "How the heck did they recognize me with my mask on my face?" But they're like, "Hey." I'm like, "Hey." And then I didn't have my mask on because I was outside walking into my building and I saw somebody that I knew. I hadn't seen him in a while. And then I realized he's like, "Hey." And I'm like, "Hey." And I'm like, "How did he recognize me?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't have my mask on." But I feel like if I did, it's weird to say when people recognize you with your mask on, it's like, "Hey, I know you." Like, "Hey, how do you know me?" "Oh, you know my face." But it's like, it's weird, right. Different reactions.
I don't know if it's the glasses. I don't know if it's my hair. I'm not sure what it is, but typically when people see, and I live in my hometown, and my hometown's not super big. So people can see like my face, like my glasses and my eyes and my hair, and they pretty much can deduce it's like, "Oh, it's Byron. Hey, Byron." It's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And of course, like if I'm wearing like my Buccaneers mask, everybody knows I'm a Bucks fan, so they're like, "Oh, it's that motherfucker over there. Lord. It's that some bitch that keeps bragging about Tom Brady."
Can I tell you, my mother would love you because she's Tom Brady. She don't really watch football. She understands it. She just don't like it. But Tom Brady, she love that man. She's like, "He's so handsome." I was like, "Man, fuck Tom Brady." And she was like, "Why y'all like this?" Ravens fans know. We know why. Yeah. But it's like, he's fine. He's down in Tampa Bay. It's fine. He fine.
No, I was like so shocked. Like when I was in the group chat earlier today with the homies, my internet homies. Shout out to Double B's and Jay. And like I was like, it was like after the Knicks won against the Celtics last night, and the Knicks fans was just going ballistic, and I like randomly Deezus was in the crowd with the rest of the Knicks fans. Like, I mean, I know he's in New York, but it was just like, bro, you're like famous. What are you doing with these people? And out of nowhere, Tom Brady got a straight. I'm like, bro, this is a basketball game. Why are you mentioning Brady? He don't even play for the Patriots anymore.
You understand? It's like, I'm glad he's over there, but I think it's so funny because I know Desus is like, if the Knicks won, child, he's probably living his best life because he's like, it is so hard to be a Knicks fan. I was like,
it was so ignorant.
I was like,
it was so ignorant. The dude was like, where Tom Brady at? Tell Tom Brady he owe me money. Tell that nigga he owe me money. It was a random dude from New York. It wasn't even Deezus that said that. I was just like, it was one game and you beat the Celtics in double overtime. Like,
double overtime.
What is happening?
Look, let me tell you something. As many wins they don't get, they gonna celebrate every one of them. God damn it, because we back to basketball, honey. Meaning that we back to LeBron and his little shorty shorts in the Instagram stories with no shirt on. I'm like, I love it. We back to IG honey time, honey. IG honey. I mean, he's like that 24. He's like that 365, but it's different because he just be glistening, honey. I'm like, see, that's my person. So Tom Brady's my mama's person, but LeBron is my person, and I don't even watch basketball like that. It's like, oh no, just show me LeBron's little thirst traps all over the gram. Y'all. Just put him in his little shorts. It better be yellow. And it's like, start doing all these lifts for no apparent reason. Do your squats, do your lifts. Come on, LeBron. Give us the money shot. That's exactly how I feel about LeBron James. I have an issue. I mean, it's not an issue, but it's an issue. I'm like, wait, why you got your shirt on, sir? Excuse me. This is a clothing optional space. It's like I'm trying to push him into OnlyFans territory, and I'm not exactly sure why I want to do this, but yeah, here we are.
Mr. James, this is a McDonald's.
I know. It's like, yep. Yeah, take your shirt off because now this is a Wendy's.
Oh my God. Wow. There's a lot happening there.
There's a lot. I mean, it really is.
Like I'm a basketball guy. I'm a big time basketball guy. And it's funny, like my daughter did actually not know that about me. Like,
really?
No, like, so the thing is, like, I'm a huge basketball guy. Like, I grew up playing ball. Like, basketball is my first love.
Right.
And it's just because my fandom of the Bucks is just so obnoxious. A lot of people don't actually know I'm actually more of a basketball person than a football person.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I root for the Houston Rockets, but like my fandom of an actual basketball team is not near what it is with the Bucks. Like I'm 23 years deep, 2 Super Bowls deep, 4 Hall of Famers deep with the Bucks. Like
I didn't know they had another Super Bowl win. Okay.
Yes, we just won. Oh yeah. Well, we won in 2002.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Oh,
with our now just infamous, not to be mentioned head coach.
Shut. That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
It's a whole different podcast. It's like I have so many thoughts about him, but my God, it's like
yeah. But yeah, I'm absolutely a basketball, NBA Twitter guy.
Come on,
March
NBA
Madness
Twitter
guy, NBA
you
playoff
got all
guy,
the Stephen
absolutely.
A. Smith memes. I know you do. You got all the Stephen A. Smith memes.
No, I don't have that many, and I have Stephen A. Smith actually muted on Twitter because I just can't.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I think I got Skip. Muted. I know I got Stephen A. muted.
Oh, okay. Oh boy, you sound like me because I had to mute Shannon Sharp, and it has nothing to do with sports.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like
my NBA Twitter guy, Jenkins and Jones, my NBA Twitter guys, and my man Rob Perez on Twitter. I like it. I like following him too because he every now and again Rob hit us with the periscopes of the car chases, and I'm here for that. I'm here for the car chases.
Okay, look at this. You know what? Look at that. You know what, Uncle Ricky and Uncle Jay would love this shooty hoops minute because they know how I feel about the shooty hoops. It's like, yeah, okay, just give me the guys who play the shooty hoops in their shorts. I'm fine.
Shooty hoops.
Y'all, it's the most auntie thing ever. And I was like, y'all, I'm a figurative and literal auntie. Like my nephew calls me Auntie Sunshine. So, you know, and I live for it every time he says it. So, you know, good luck, everybody. So let's dive into some other stuff. So
all right.
I think since you're also on the Twitter streets, you have seen the discussion about quote unquote safe spaces for Black men to share their feelings. And I'm like, so it's not because, so there have been three different things. So one, people saying, look, I just need to feel safe and have my feelings because of this. Two, I need to have this safe space because y'all heifers got one, you females got one, and we should have one. Or three, I want to have a safe space to be trash and talk about y'all. So it's like it's different definitions of safe spaces, and I know you've probably seen these conversations. We've all seen the Brandon Marshall from Brandon Marshall is a very interesting person. When he is right, he is right, but when he is wrong, he's very loud about it.
Oh, well, very much the nature of his diagnosis.
Yeah, right. So it's kind of like, you know, Brandon, but everybody's seeing the video, like, see, men need these spaces, and it's like, y'all, I feel like y'all have had these spaces, but then you juxtaposition it with either Black LGBTQ plus folks or Black women, which is weird because then you don't want to hear the conversation of why do you think these spaces were created?
Yep.
It's the calls coming from inside the house.
It's very much like the idea of like why white dudes are like, well, why don't we have safe spaces? I'm like, so the reason why that these safe spaces have been created for minorities or for, you know, women, for LGBTQ people, is they are literally places of safety where they can be their full selves without, you know, being harassed or, you know, traumatized or demonized by people in positions of the ability to oppress those folks. It is starkly different to need a safe space like, you know, like what's it called in gay culture, drag culture, and, you know, the ball culture. That's what it was. That's a whole huge difference between the need for ball culture for, you know, people of color and, you know, LGBTQ people
to just be their authentic selves. Yeah.
Right. And a safe space for dudes to just be literally trash. The reason why you want a safe space to be literally trash is because you don't want people to come in and actually call you out on your shit.
Correct.
Which, spoiler warning, you need to be called out on your shit. Like, why did I go to therapy? Because I felt like maybe, just maybe, I needed to get called out on my shit because something was not quite working in my life that I needed to get help with.
Wow.
And there's nothing absolutely wrong with somebody in your life sitting you down and saying, son, you were dead ass wrong.
And I mean, complete. It's like, you never know what that feels like till someone says, baby, I need you to go and get therapy because you need help. Because you need more. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. I think that's the other thing. It's like, why wouldn't you just ask for help? It's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, do you know how much people want to help other people? They're like, we don't want you to suffer alone. And that's okay to do.
But I'm sorry.
No, man.
But I mean, I get it. Like, I get it in regards to therapy. I mean, I even get it in regards to physical health. Like, I know, I love my dad wholeheartedly and sincerely. And I know one of the worst habits I learned from my dad is I will grin and bear and just get through it. And I did that for years. Yikes. Like when I was married, and I know I've been kind of open about my marriage, and a lot of people, especially like my gaming crew, shout out to Woon and all of them. And, of course, my closest friends know how just chaotic my marriage was. But a lot of that 8.5 years was me just grinning and bearing to try to get this child to college. And eventually it got to a point where I was like, I can't grin and bear anymore. Like I can't. Like I'm falling apart at the seams.
Yeah.
So like I get it. The idea of I can carry the load. I saw this meme a while ago. You can carry the load, but it don't mean it ain't heavy, and it don't mean that you have to.
Correct.
So, going to therapy, think about it like this. Think about going to therapy like going on the bench press and having a spotter. You getting your reps in, maybe your arms get a little bit tired, and your spotter go, "Hey, I got you, you got it." Or you hitting that last couple reps, and your spotter's there saying, one more rep, come on, push. Think of your therapist like that. That's what we are. We're spotters. We are there to help maybe clean up some of the mess that you got going on in your brain that's sending you mixed signals. Maybe we're there to kind of help pick you up whenever you give you that helping hand. If you feel like you're in a hole by yourself, because you're struggling with your depression, or, if you're riding a roller coaster of, anxiety or mania and, bipolar disorder, whatever it is, we're like a lifeguard. We jump in with you and swim around in the brain with you, and,
come on, swim around in the brain with you.
Yeah. Help clean up a little bit of trash, help, clean the pool out a little bit, but you got to clean most of it out. You got to put your own chlorine in. But that's what we are. We're not here to tell you that you're weak, and we're not here to make fun of you because you decide to come sit on our couch or sit in our chair or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We're here to let you know, hey, I'm happy that you came. I'm glad that you came. You did something good for yourself. And I'm proud of you for doing that.
And I'm glad you said that. It's like, we're here to help you, because I think for a lot of us, you said you were grinning and bearing it, where you see people, and this is not, just subject to man, woman, child, where it's just like, if I let people see who I am, will they love me? Will they like what they see? Will they just go, oh my gosh, you can't just handle life? And it's like, so life is hard. I don't know if anybody has lied to you and said that, life isn't hard, but sometimes it's like life can be very, very hard, and you just need an extra boost. And it's okay to say you need help. I saw a video of a woman talking about, like, stop calling Black women strong, because it's no longer the compliment that people think it is. It's like, it just means you're so strong that I don't have to help you. And it's like, so that's not how the fuck any of this works. It's like, you're so strong that, just be strong, because that'll get you through life. And it's like, yeah, but you'll be existing and not living. I spent a very long time being a strong Black woman and just existing. And I want to get to a place where I'm living. And that should be everybody's thing. It's like, you're alive. I'm like, people who are in vegetative states in a hospital are alive, technically. But are they living? No, they're existing.
They're surviving.
Right. And by a literal thread. So group therapy. I think that we're talking about creating safe spaces, but then we're also talking about the benefits of group therapy, where you get to meet like-minded people, you hear the jokes of, I'm going to like AA, NA, like, how does that factor in? And it's like, well, you're around like-minded people who understand your journey, But that's also the benefit of group therapy, where you can have people who are like, they're like you. There has something, because I think that's the other thing. People don't want to tell people in groups. They don't want to tell people one-on-one, where it's just one person. They don't want to sit in a group of people. It's like, wait, what's going on? So what are your thoughts on the benefits of group therapy?
So there are a bunch of benefits. Now one thing that you do want to pay in mind when it comes to group therapy is there is not as much confidentiality in group therapy as there is in individual.
Okay.
Like in individual therapy is just you and your therapist, and so your stories kind of gonna get heard by more people, and there's no guarantee that nobody in your group is going to talk about your story outside of group. So you do have to be aware that there is a little bit less confidentiality because of just the sheer number of people that are involved in the group. But I'm pulling this up real quick because I couldn't remember the thing that I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
About group therapy. But here are a bunch of benefits actually. So benefits of group therapy. It allows people to receive and support and encouragement from other members of the group, meaning that in some cases, one of the things that may stop us, especially us as Black men, from going to therapy is the idea of I'm kind of alone in this. I kind of grin and bear a lot of this responsibility because it feels like I'm on my own on this. And that's not true at all. Right. Group therapy actually will help you very possibly engage with other people who are going through a similar thing as you are. And that's a term actually we call is universality. That was what I was looking for. Being part of a group of people who have had the same experiences help people see that what they're going through is universal and that they're not alone.
Yeah.
Another thing is group members also serve as role models for other members of the group. So yeah, I get it that, barbershop talk is really cool. And don't get me wrong, barbershop talk can be kind of cool. Also, barbershop talk can be very, very, very controversial, very hotepish, very conspiratorial, all that kind of crazy nonsense. So being in a group where you have a licensed professional or a certified professional that can help kind of rein the conversation in a more healthy direction is really vital for the development of everybody in the group. And then group therapy is also very affordable.
Okay.
So instead of focusing on one client at a time, the therapist can devote time to a much larger group, which reduces the cost for the participants.
See, another benefit, because that's something I was not aware of.
That
is like, it makes it right. It's like, oh, because that's the other thing. I think it's also therapy's so expensive, because that's the other thing. Or I think when I think about therapy, especially if you are a working person and you have certain benefits, health insurance plans are getting more involved in mental health because, man, 10, 15 years ago working, it's like mental health was not comprehensive under health insurance. And now it's getting better. It's like, wow. It was like the co-pays or co-insurances aren't that high. In-person stays are actually more covered. It's kind of like you see those little tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So group therapy, I'm like, I didn't know it was it's more affordable because like, hey, because when you say it, it makes sense because it's like, yeah. So it's like you have more people. It's like a little bit more affordable. I think when I think about group therapy, the other part is that everybody's not at the same level. So there might be people who are at different levels and they're like, hey, I've been where you've been. Because I think that's the other hard part about it is like, you don't want to reach out to people because you're like, oh, I don't want you to think that something's so wrong with me. But then you're in a group of people like, I remember I used to be you like 2 years ago. And then I started doing this. So maybe these tools work for me. So maybe they'll work for you.
Yep. And that's why it's good actually to go to group therapy as opposed to like, some other spaces, because a good group therapist, like your group counselor. Linking is another term that they use, is taking, being able to be like, oh, well, you said something really, really, really dope in the group therapy. Maybe you want to have this conversation with this person over here, and then y'all can kind of like, bounce feedback off of each other, and it could very well help this person over here, because maybe they're not quite in the same level in the group as you are right now, but your experience can relate to them. So having a good group therapist who can facilitate linking members to each other so that they can work to grow together is like really, really dope, and it's really vital to overall development. Is another good reason why you want to go to group therapy as opposed to just barbershop talk.
Yeah, that makes me think about two different. So I watch scripted and unscripted television. So two things caught to my mind. On Netflix, it's a show called Kim's Convenience. So Shang-Chi, the newest Marvel superhero, he was on that show. That show is so freaking hilarious. It's a Canadian show. And so these are Christian Korean folks. They're which is very interesting because I don't think people really notice how there are a lot of, especially, I don't know if it just might be where I am, but there's a lot of Korean Christian churches. So I really was like, that looks familiar, because I'm like, there's a lot near me in an old neighborhood that I used to grow up in. So they had a therapy group, and this was at a church. So it was actually their female pastor who led a group. And I was like, it's interesting because she kind of tricked the two main characters to come to a group. They thought they were just going to meet with her, and then you see all these people walking like, what is going on? And then there's the apprehension from Appa, who is the main male protagonist, who's like, oh, I'm not sharing anything in this. But then it's kind of like he started to get a little bit comfortable. So it's very interesting when I think about that. But then the other thing was Love and Marriage Huntsville, where one of the husbands, Marceau, he kind of just dropped in the lap of, this year has been hard, and I think, I've been depressed. So his sister-in-law is a nurse. And she's like, as a clinician, this is what I heard. So, they're in Vegas and they're just talking with a group of people. And it's like, whoa, one of the people in the group is his actual blood brother. So it's his brother, and his wife is the nurse. And then it's his wife. And so they come back from Vegas and they sit down at dinner and they're like, can we talk about what you said? And he's like, I don't think I need therapy. It's just kind of like, if I have like a knee injury, let me just walk it off. And I'm not a clinician, but I heard what the clinician said. It's like, you said in front of me that you're struggling and you're depressed. I'm a clinician and I hear what you're saying. His brother was like, I'm your brother and I care about you. I hear what you're saying. And it was just like, I don't want to go there because I don't think anything's wrong with me. And I'm like, you are definitely an old Black man. When he said, no, I can just walk it off. I'm like, yeah, don't say in front of your family members who care about you, I am depressed. It's like, okay, so then how can we help you? Oh, no, I don't need any help. Are you? And so then it becomes, were you just doing that to get your wife to be quiet? Because they also were celebrating 15 years of marriage, and he didn't want to renew his vows. Like, they were in Vegas with all the people, and she wanted to set up like, oh, we can renew our vows in this Vegas chapel. And he's like, he didn't want to do that in front of everybody else. I was like, And I was like, I think, and it's kind of like, she was just like, she felt a little defeated. She didn't say that, but she's like listening to him talk. She's like, yeah, I'm not going to go through with this, because it was supposed to be a surprise for him. She told everybody else. And then when he got there, she just didn't go through with it because she was listening to him. And so it's very interesting, that turn, because I'm like, you're telling the people that care about you that you are depressed, but you don't want to do anything because I don't think I need it. You literally are telling people that and this could be you being proactive about your care, but you're waiting until it becomes a thing that you need to be reactive to. Because you're like, oh, I don't think I need to. I'm like, you saying it out loud and putting a word on it, which sometimes I feel like, because I'm someone who has depression, sometimes I feel like people are just throwing around like, oh, no, it's just been hard. I'm depressed. I'm like, you could actually be that, or it's just been a hard year like everybody else. But don't just throw around that word, because that word is loaded, especially in front of people that you care about and care about you, because they're not going to see you drowning. They're going to want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah. So I think that's the other thing. It's like, what advice would you give to people to, or better yet, how would you, I guess, inform them that therapy can be proactive and not necessarily reactive, meaning waiting until something extremely drastic happens, or you're screaming at a person in Walmart that you just met 2 minutes ago because other shit is going on in your life. It's like, yeah, and stop waiting until something like, girl, you on the World Star. And it's like, why are you screaming at that woman in Walmart? She cut me off. Okay. You want to have a discussion?
Yeah. So the thing with therapy is that another one of the big misconceptions about therapy is that you only go to therapy when something goes bad. And there's actually a conversation I have to have with a lot of my kids, because the kids tend to like rationalize therapy as, okay, I did something, I got in trouble for it, or I did something and I had to go to the hospital for it. I did something and I had to go to in front of the judge because of it. So now they think therapy, I got sent to therapy because I'm bad. Or I did something bad, or therapy is bad for some reason. So, there are ways that we as parents can get our children into therapy. We can be proactive and see that our children are struggling with something, or they've talked to us about a situation, or they've talked about our feelings, and we can decide, okay, well, hey, let's go maybe seek out some help, because I'm not sure how to help my kid. It's kind of what I did with my kid. My kid was like, hey, I want to go to therapy after her mother and I got divorced. So that's kind of how my kid got into therapy. They were like, yeah, I want to go talk to somebody. I want to go to therapy. And even for us as adults, yes, from my perspective, my seeking therapy kind of was reactive. It was kind of reactive, but it was also proactive, because I was kind of noticing a trend with me of, I seem to constantly get burnt out. Like I seem to burn out a lot. I burnt out in school. I burnt out in work. I burnt out in like kind of all of my jobs. But come to find out, actually, I'd been dealing with depression since I was probably in middle school and didn't know it. Because I was always kind of a high energy kid and a high achieving kid, that I never really noticed that. I knew I was kind of sad in high school, but I didn't really realize how sad I might have actually been in high school. So,
see, look at you. It's like, yeah, because that's big to recognize. Where it's like, maybe it wasn't just this, maybe it was something else.
Yeah. And like, I'm a very introspective person, just by the sheer nature of my anxiety, because my brain is always just like going. I know that I know some of my friends are kind of like, how do you remember that? And I'm just like, I don't know. My brain kind of catalogs everything. Some things I remember more clearly than others, depending upon how much I'm paying attention. Yeah. But like, knowing, like, being honest with yourself and knowing if you feel like you're not quite up to snuff, or you're not quite up to par in some way, or you're just feeling kind of down. And a great way to look at it is, I saw this TikTok video really spoke to me. This dude, he was talking about therapy, and like his therapist was like, towards the end of the session, she was like, you seem pretty well adjusted for somebody who's just not coming to therapy for the first time. Is like, why are you here? So he was like, I'm a good husband, I'm a good employee, I'm a good father, and I want to be great at all those things. And then she basically was like, well, husband is who you are for your wife, father's who you are for your kid, employees who you are for your job.
Yes. I saw that video and went, oh my God, that's deep.
Yep. And then then she asked, like, who are you for yourself? And he said, and he's like, and then he started crying. And then he got to the idea of, I'm not sure that there's much of a person outside of that. So therapy doesn't just necessarily mean you're going because you've been dealing with sad boy times. Yes, I was dealing with sad boy times, but also I got tired of feeling like I wasn't good enough. And that was a big reason why I went to go to therapy. I got tired of feeling like I wasn't good enough, or that I made a mistake somehow and it ruined my relationship, or, dealing with all the trauma that I experienced. Therapy can help you redefine how you see yourself in a healthy way. Yeah. So it's more than just, I'm dealing with the sad boys or the sad girls or the sad days of thems. It's helping to grow a healthier sense of who you are, or being more at peace with who you are.
Because that's the other thing. It's like, that's the part we don't talk about. It's like, and I know RuPaul is RuPaul is RuPaul. And he said some wild ass shit, but he said, if you don't love yourself, how's anybody else supposed to love you? But I think the caveat for me to that is, if you don't like you, why should somebody else like you? You should be able to literally like yourself, like the person that you are. And for a lot of us, it's like you spend a lot of time not liking who you are. And it's like, you just don't. But then it's like, you want to ask the question, well, why don't you like yourself? Why don't you like the person that you are? And then you'll see all the, it's because of this, the list, the scroll of trauma. And it's like, well, this is why. And it's like, some of that is situational, and that's not your issue. It could be societal pressure. It could be gentle ribbing from your family. It could be a lot of things, but you should actually like yourself. And if you don't like yourself, then that is being a little proactive of, hey, I'm not doing my best. Just like you did when you're like, I'm gonna start going to therapy because I'm not doing my best. I'm not doing the best at a lot of things. So, and I think you said that was reactive. It's like, it's kind of proactive, because something catastrophic didn't have to happen for you to go, I guess now I got to do it. I just burned this house down, so I guess now I should go to therapy.
Well, I mean, it was a bit reactive because it was on the heels of the breakup. So when I knew that, like, it was like, yeah, we're probably not gonna get back together again, and I don't like this. This sucks. So it was kind of reactive, but also I was feeling that reoccurring theme of like, I really kind of feel down. And I kind of felt like that during the pandemic last year, and I kind of just shrugged it off of, well, it's the pandemic, everybody's stuck at home. I can't hang out with my friends and shit.
Yeah.
But now I'm realizing that no, this pattern has been 20 something years that has been happening. And I'm in a season in my life where I think I'm finally growing more comfortable being my full self.
Okay.
I know,
feel like Jada Pinkett Smith right now at the red table talk.
Like, I told my friend before of like, high school me did not want to be me at all. I just didn't. I didn't want to be me. I wanted to be somebody else. I wanted to be the player pimp dude. All the girls was just like screaming over, like, oh my God, he's so handsome. I wanted to be that dude. I did not want to be me. I just didn't. And it took me kind of a while to kind of come to terms with who I actually was. By then I was married, and I'm in the middle of a John Mayer song at this point, and it's just like, I think I deserve more than this. I think I deserve more than this. So by the end, it's full on slow dancing in the burning room going on, and I'm just like, yep, I deserve way more than this.
Oh boy. Sidebar. I love that, John Mayer has the chokehold on a lot of Black people's streaming platforms and iTunes. Because my God, it's like I don't know any. I know a lot of Black people who love John Mayer. I really do. It's like, yeah, wait, which John Mayer song? All I was thinking is like, which John Mayer song? But yeah, that's just how John Mayer's music is. It's like his penis may be a white supremacist, his words, but our ears apparently are not. It's like, what the hell? It's like, just say you want to sleep with Black women and leave us alone. It's like, I feel like you're John Mayer. There's a lot of Black women who literally love your music and would literally fuck you. I mean, I don't know how to tell you this and then the other way, John, like, seriously, you just have to like, just walk up to them and say, I'm fucking John Mayer. Be like, okay, so let's go. I'm just saying, they will, everybody would like, the dickening of the night before and then waking up to you playing the guitar for them. I'm just saying.
That song, that song definitely like encapsulated that like especially like the last 3 years of that part of my life was just like this is this is a lot. And shout out to Nick Jew. Shout out to Nick Jew and Reggie. After the divorce was over and I came back home and moving on and getting over came out. I'm like, tell me, John. Tell me more. Tell me more, John. Yes. Ooh. Yes. Feed these mellow vibes, John. I need them. I need them in my life. Yeah, I like me some John Mayer. I definitely should have bought that Continuum vinyl when I saw it like a year or so ago. That was my fault. But it was a bit pricey, and I bought Maze featuring Frankie Beverly instead. So I made a good choice regardless.
I mean, I don't find that a bad choice. I don't.
Oh no, find that a bad choice at all. Because it was the album that had that While I'm Alone is on, and I was like, yes, please.
Oh my God, come on. I just John Mayer. Now I just want to go play Gravity.
Oh, that's my shit right there. That's my shit right there.
Mayer. It's like, fuck you, John Mayer, as I hit play again.
Oh, that's my jam right there.
I'm just saying. I was in college, this is so random, but who used to have the chokehold on me? Dave Matthews Band.
Oh wow.
It's like, seriously, on my white buddies, I'm like, these songs are kind of good. I'm not even gonna lie. Them and Sarah McLachlan. I'm like, how the hell did I get here? It's like, but Dave Matthews Band, I'm like, I could sit on the grass and eat some pasta salad and listen to music. It's like, how am I here with Dave Matthews Band?
See, I at least have the excuse of my best friend is white for I listen to Jamiroquai. I at least have
please don't even start on him because oh my God, I love them.
I at least have the excuse of my best friend is white because I listen to Daft Punk and I like some Metallica songs. I at least can be like,
should not be funny, but it is.
I at least can be like, hi everyone, this is Ricky. He's my best friend. Hey y'all, what's going on? Nope. Like, how long y'all known each other? Literally most of our lives. Yep. All but 4 years.
Child, let me tell you something. Can I just tell you that my mother is the one who got me hooked on Jamiroquai? And I think they released the album in the last few years. I'm like, that album goes. I'm like, this shit is so good. I
didn't like that last album. That
you didn't like it
that much? No, Automation, I think it was. I didn't like it that much. I really did like Rock Dust Light Star that came out before that album. But like I've heard all of their albums. Which one's my favorite ones? Oh, Dynamite, because Lord. I can't put too much of my life out on here on the streets.
Please don't put it on the podcast streets.
But 7 Days of Sunny June has a very, very special place in my heart.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
now you're gonna make me let me add this to my titles, child. As Brandon would say, the titles. Yeah, Automaton.
Automation, I think it is the album.
Automaton. Yeah. So I was like, this is from 4 years ago. Oh, that's right. Because I was like, it was recent. I was like, oh, okay, Jamiroquai. I didn't know they were still making music.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh.
But yeah, like I think the run for me is Traveling Without Moving, Synchronize, A Funk Odyssey, and then Dynamite. Those 4 albums are like the shit for me. Because Traveling Without Moving is Virtual Insanity, Cosmic Girl.
It's just a cosmic girl.
Yep. Synchronized is Canned Heat.
Yes.
A Funk Odyssey is Corner of the Earth, Main Vein, Love Philosophy, and then Dynamite is Feels Just Like It Should, 7 Days of Sunny June, obviously. And then like Tallulah and like Hot Tequila Brown is just like, yeah, that's my shit. And then I like Rock Dust Light Star because Lifeline's a really good song. Lifeline's a really good song. She's a Fast Persuader's a good song. Like I love the bass in that song. Like, no, I like, the guitar line. And She's a Fast Persuader. And then White Knuckle Ride is a really good song on Rock Dust Light Star. But I fucking love Jamiroquai.
It's the shit. It's a shit. Again, Chokehold and some of like people. It's like I know that with Black people who love music, it's like, oh, it's very diverse in our ears. I just want to let y'all know. They're like, what? It's like, you like that? I'm like, oh, you think because Black people like music? What the fuck are y'all doing? Like,
right?
Get out my face, y'all. Get out my face.
Right.
I'm sorry. But now I'm gonna go after this. After we finish recording, I'm going to go listen to Jamiroquai because my God, it's like the chokehold. So last thing before we get out of here, there's a young man on the TikTok. See, I sound like the auntie that I am. On the TikTok, his name is the Situational Therapist. Now, he gives his thoughts and his fifis, which totally fine. He is rallied against spanking with children, which hot debate, but also I'm not really in disagreement with him because some people don't understand discipline and physical abuse of children. So there's that. But homeboy has been making the streets. He's been making the rounds because, well, he put out on his TikTok that, he has trauma because his mother was physically abusive. She was a single parent. And then it went from his abuse and trauma, like, oh my God, okay, understand this is terrible, to this is why Black men don't like Black women.
Oh boy. So we made that leap, huh?
And it was like, he just so I don't even know where to begin with that, because it turned into, y'all don't provide us safe spaces for our feelings. That's why Black men don't like Black women. This is why it was like literally trying to paint Black women as terrorists. And I'm just like, so we're here. We are here. And I saw a lot of people on TikTok, either responding, which is called stitching his video, and literally saying, have you lost your goddamn mind? Because there are many a Black woman who will tell you, baby, I'm not your therapist. Get thyself to a therapist, because that's where I went. But the as of late discussion about why Black men don't want to be with Black women is so super weird, because it's very much like, oh, we don't want to be with Black women because it's all their fault. I don't understand what's going on here. I don't. But again, he is a therapist. I'm like, he's a what? It's like, he's a what? He is a what? You can't make this up. You can't make this up. It's like, So of course everybody got thoughts and fifis, but which I'm not trying to diminish anybody's thoughts, because that's the other thing when we say triggering. I'm trying to think of another word to use other than triggering. It might be just like, this is annoying. It's annoying that I got to keep saying this. This is for a lot of Black women and Black men going like, are you fucking kidding me? y'all need healing. And this man with his earrings that I actually want, and then someone talked about his color contacts and say, see, that's why I don't fuck with no niggas that got color contacts. I've been trying to tell y'all. I'm like, okay, so we don't have to war against color contacts right now. But I'm just saying, for the melanated folks that wear the color contacts, he apparently is embarrassing y'all. He's embarrassing you, not me, you. But a young woman who she decided to tweet this out, and it's making the rounds. Not too many rounds, but rounds so far. But she said, "This is the situational therapist was her old therapist I left for a reason." And we were like, girl, what? And so the thing about his TikTok is a lot of projection. It's a lot of very dismissive things. And it's always like off, and it's like, okay. So she said, he talked about himself a lot and never helped me with any type of coping mechanisms to get through my trauma. He blamed my anxiety and depression on my parents and was trying to push me to move out when I was nowhere near ready. I'm looking at her picture and I know she is barely 27. I'm guessing because she has a baby face, but because she started with, why my old therapist got TikTok drama. I said, oh Lord. But the fact that this man actually is a therapist, because, you know, some people just say they are. And then it's the ones who actually are. And then
I'm like looking at his website or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is definitely, he is doing videos on the TikTok. But you know, he also is on Twitter, you guys, and his website. Oh my gosh. Spanking is abuse. I can see that. The DSM is racist.
Yeah.
The DSM. I don't know what the DSM is. The mental health system is broken. I can see that. The identified patient isn't the problem. Psychiatry caused the stigma. I am an alien.
Okay. So I know I'm a goofball, and I know I am like patently. I tell people all the time, like, I am patently ridiculous. I know that I am. But me being honest about my shortcomings or just like my weirdness makes me endearing to the people close to me. Like my sister-in-law basically told me that, it's like, dude, like, that's why we love you. Like, you absolutely are the friend that absolutely blurts something out when you probably shouldn't, and we just go like, damn it, Byron. But that's so you little rap scandal, and like, they know not to touch my hair, but they would touch my hair if they were allowed, but they're not. But you can't be just out here being like, yeah, I'm an alien, but I'm a therapist. Dude, what? Mm-hmm. No. Why would I take you seriously? Like, okay, matter of fact, so self-disclosure, and for people who don't follow me on Twitter, I'm gonna go read y'all okay. At Captain CAPT_ingenuity, host of the Captain's Couch, a mental health podcast for Black people, especially Black boys and men. That's it. And then I got hashtags about stuff that I like. What? The Bucks, Southern Miss to the top, my alma mater, Space Wakanda, all day, every day. The Houston Rockets. That's it. This is a New Day stand account. I mean, like, these are just normal things. I'm not out here being like, I'm a robot, or or my personal favorite from The Fifth Element, I am a meat popsicle. I am not doing that. That is ridiculous. Oh. Yeah. And that's coming from someone who is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. I just
I can't.
You're not. So I think what's getting me is that you're not just saying you're a therapist on Twitter, because some people just label themselves like, I'm a therapist. I'm like, where's your degree, sir? Or madam. It's kind of like, are you a freelance auntie like Iyanla? Because I'm like, first of all, she's not a therapist. Stop coming to her. And I knew the rubber was meeting the road when she started bringing in life coaches and therapists to help her. I'm like, so you've been wild as hell on this channel on Oprah's network, and now you okay. So the fact that he could be somebody's therapist and actually damaging them and saying, just move out of your parents' house and that's just the way to fix this. I'm like, some people can't just leave.
I'm also looking at his bio on Psychology Today, and I'm just like, dude, I would not take you serious
at all. Because I literally didn't realize he was a real therapist until homegirl said it.
Most therapists are probably just going to teach you some coping skills for managing your anxiety, when honestly, there are some damn good reasons to be anxious and depressed right now. In fact, my style of therapy is focused on what it would be to be a therapist during the apocalypses. I'm going to help you come up with a persona to get through the ridiculousness to survive an apocalypse that most people aren't acknowledging. You will need to be able to play various roles in life and be able to manage your internal, external boundaries so that the raging band of negative thoughts don't overdo.
I'm sorry. It's
this shit is a mockery.
The size and the pauses that we're having about this is just literally sending me up to the balcony.
He's making cogent points about boundaries, but dude, your whole approach is kind of a mockery. You're projecting out that the rest of us who are therapists, who are doing talk therapy, who are talking with our clients, who are giving coping strategies, you're projecting that we are parodies and that we are not doing things right, but you're literally making a mockery of the profession in and of itself. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? Oh, like, dude, I am absolutely the therapist who wear, like, literally, I wore a polo today, but I literally wore a white t-shirt, my red thin cardigan yesterday, and joggers. That's the type of therapist I am when I'm like tired. But if I'm gonna make a fucking professional headshot, nigga, my hair gonna be looking nice. Nigga, this beard gonna be looking very nice. I'm gonna be looking halfway decent. We might want to start wrapping up because I'm gonna start ranting.
Yeah, we can, because I just saw his rates in insurance and I said, girl, what?
Right.
I'm like, and I don't accept insurance. Yeah, goodbye. Okay, no. Mental health is part of insurance. It's insurance benefit. Nope, not doing this. Okay, we gonna go, because no, we not going. I'm not. You not damaging nobody else, and then say I can do TikTok therapy. I'm sorry. What the fuck are you talking about? No, you know what? No, we not. Setting up a boundary. No, nope, we not doing it.
Slide scale. Well, I mean, he accepts insurances, which But okay.
Yeah, no, y'all. I'm gonna send y'all to different directories. Please check out Therapy for Black Girls directories. And also let me just let y'all know, I have gone through different therapists because of times in my life. Insurance has changed, and my therapist that I was going to didn't accept insurance. That probably was a good or bad thing, because I found my person. Feels like I found my relationship, and it just has been working. Ask if you know people that you work with that are therapists. Ask them, because they'll be happy. Oh, I can tell you this directory. But yeah, Therapy for Black Girls. Byron, do you know of any directories? I'm saying this for Black girls. The therapist would help Black non-women as well, but it's just, I know that her directory is huge. But do you know of any other directories where someone can find a therapist?
I think I linked this before on the show. Let me double check, but I'm almost certain there's also a Therapy for Black Men directory as well.
Cool. Okay.
Let me double check,
because I will put it in the show notes. Are you looking for a therapist?
Yeah.
Because don't go to TikTok with him, because my God.
No.
Not somebody who's going to charge you $350 an hour. It's like, girl, what? No.
Yes, therapyforblackmen.org in
Yes.
partnership with licensed mental health professionals and coaches in private practice through the 50 states. So yes, therapyforblackmen.org also.
Okay, thank you.
Also, a couple things to think about, like if you are kind of like low income, there are community-based mental health places that do sliding scale. Even some private practice clinicians do sliding scale. If you work out some kind of financial program, financial payment strategy or whatever with your therapist, they can work with you if you do fall on hard times. If you have health insurance, a lot of health insurance plans, including the one that I have, actually have provisions in there now for mental health therapy. So use your health benefits, use your employee assistance plan if you need to as well. But yeah, there are definitely avenues out there for us to find mental health professionals. Even Facebook groups for clinicians of color or people of color can direct you in different directions to finding a mental health therapist.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I really do. I am going to put this in the show notes because it's okay to look. Also, I think I saw a TikTok video a little while ago where a guy was like, why they got all these things listed for preference? Why y'all got all that? Because when you start therapy, you should be comfortable around your therapist. Mm-hmm. So for some people, they would need their therapist to be Black. Some of them need therapist to be a Black woman. I am one of those people.
Yeah.
I needed my therapist to look like me. Some people don't care about that. They're like, I just need somebody to listen. For that, sometimes it's like, I need people who, I have a preference. And it's glad that we're now getting to a place where you can do a preference.
Yeah. And I'm very fortunate to have a Black woman as a therapist. This is the second time I've been in therapy. I had a white woman before as a therapist, and it was on the heels of like my divorce was ending. And, though it was beneficial to have the conversation of the type of partner I would have liked, there was not a lot of work on what's going on with me at that time. And I really needed to do some of that work of what was going on with me. So, I mean, I definitely made mention of my childhood trauma, and we did not even discuss it really in depth. Let alone the idea that I was actually dealing with depression and anxiety. So, shout out to my current therapist, who is a wonderful, wonderful woman, a wonderful Black woman. And I appreciate the work that her and I have been able to do together.
That is wonderful. Yeah. Shout out to mine too, because I have a Black woman. Yeah, it's just this thing. Your preference means something. Some people are more comfortable. And that's just it. And that really is okay. And if you don't have a preference, that's also okay. But yeah, y'all, we're gonna put a button in the discussion for today. Byron, thank you for being here. Thank you for dropping the gems. Thank you for being so open. Please tell everybody how they can follow you and how they can find the Captain's Couch that y'all should be listening to, by the way.
Yes, so feel free to catch up on the Captain's Couch, because work be working and life be lifing. So I got to get back to getting consistent on the show. But you can catch the Captain's Couch pretty much everywhere you find podcasts. Anchor app, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, everywhere your podcast app. If you use RSS feed, you can find that as well. You can find me on the Twitters at Captain, which is CAPT_ingenuity. And you also can find the Captain's Couch on Twitter at Captain's Couch. And then I'm also at the Captain's Couch on Instagram, and then Captain Ingenuity on Instagram as well.
Yes. Please follow him. Please listen to the show. Catch up. It's some really good episodes. Y'all really should be like on the Captain's Couch. Please do. But guys, this has been the Mocha Minutes podcast. I will be back for my third person. I'm just loving these conversations about therapy, because we really just want to get out there that it's okay to go to therapy. It really is. Sometimes we need more tools, and not just because it's a pandemic. Because hello boosters, hello new variants. Hello, winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
It's like, so some people that they have seasonal depression. Yeah. And COVID depression is now a thing. So which is, if you already have depression, it's very
And I did an episode on COVID and seasonal depression on the show. So you might want to check that out.
Yes, please do, please do, please do. But guys, this is the Mocha Minutes podcast, and I will be back next week. Bye.